Okay, so first of all, hello viewers, Assalamualaikum. My name is Susaid Talentwala and I'm the host for Gorengi campus, level 1 student. So yes, today is our most special guest and he was also a founder. His name is Paul Bhawan. So hello Paul Bhawan sir, how are you?
I can't understand you. Please type your question into the chat.
Uh, okay. My voice is coming to you. So viewers, this I post my interview because the net issue is coming. So Paul sir, give my first answer.
Well, the first question you have here is what made you interested in philosophy? So I will try to answer that question. Um, I first got interested in philosophy when in my first year of college, and I didn't know what it was, but I had some space for another course uh, in my freshman year. And so I chose philosophy. I didn't know what it was, but I think I probably thought it was something like psychology. So I took it, and then I discovered what it really was, and I found that I liked it very much. And what I liked most about it was that it was very logical, and they were asking very interesting questions and thinking about those questions in a very logical way. And in fact, we actually
Oh,
studied it every once. So that's my answer to that question.
okay, so sir, give me my answer of my question.
Well, the second question you have here is which philosopher has influenced you the most and why? And I think that the philosopher who has interested me the most has been the British philosopher Bertrand Russell. Uh, and and he interested me because he approached things in a very logical way, and I like that. Also, he not only did philosophy for philosophers, but he also wrote things for ordinary people who didn't know the technical terminology of philosophy. But he was able to write in such a way that ordinary people could understand him. Not all philosophers can do that. Some philosophers are terrible at that, but Bertrand Russell was able to do it. And I also like about him that he wrote another kind of book, which was a book to help people deal with life, just to deal with everyday life. And the problems of everyday life, and that I liked that. And finally, I liked the fact that he was involved in politics. That is, he had ideas about how the world could be improved, and he didn't just say these are my ideas, but he would go out into the world and try to change the world for the better. So those four things, I think, are what I particularly like about Bertrand Russell. He's dead now. He died a long time ago. But I remember he was opposed to the Vietnam War. So that
Okay.
answers to your second question.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And I'm also excited, and I'm also enjoyed it to do interview with you because you are also because you are also businessman, and I also like you. So, sir, give me answer of my third question, please.
Shall I go on to my third question? Okay, I'll go on to the third question. Uh, how do you explain philosophy to beginners in simple words? Excuse me. Uh, well, I think one thing about philosophy is that philosophy deals with, among others, philosophy deals with what we call normative questions. And a normative question is about what is better or worse, or what should we do or not do. So it's not, you can describe the world and say the world is like this. And you can say there was a war and all these people died in the war or they suffered in the war. But you're just describing it. If you say war is a terrible thing, then you're making what we call a value judgment. And philosophy makes value judgments. In science, people try to avoid value judgments. They just what the world is like, but they don't say we should change the world or we shouldn't change the world. Philosophers ask what is morally right and wrong, or what is better and what is worse. And and I think that's a very valuable part of philosophy, that they ask these normative questions about value, or about what ought to be, moral questions. Now, that's not all that philosophy does. Philosophy also asks other kinds of questions like, what is truth? For many years, hundreds of years, thousands of years, philosophers have asked questions like, what is truth? These are very, very abstract questions. And it's typically philosophers who ask those questions. I mean, it's not forbidden to ask the question unless you're a philosopher, but these are the kind of questions we do actually ask. And so I think we ask normative questions, and we talk about very, very abstract things like what is truth. And
Okay.
that's my answer. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And my next question is that you. Let's we go with the next question. Next question is fourth question. Tell me, please. My question is that fourth.
Okay, the
You
fourth
are
question.
saying?
The
Yes, yes,
fourth.
yes.
I'm sorry. The fourth question I have listed here is, what is your favorite topic to think about, truth or happiness?
Yes.
Life, truth, or happiness?
Okay. Tell.
That's a very difficult question because I'm interested in all those things. But maybe truth is the most important, because whatever I want to think about life or happiness, I hope that I will come up with the truth about it. So first and foremost, I am looking for truth. But I am interested in truths about life and about happiness, as well as other things. So that's my answer. Shall I go on to number 5?
Yes, yes. Of course, yes.
Okay. How did teaching change the way you think? That's the 5th question. Well, there's a saying amongst teachers, at least here in the US, that is, you don't really know a subject until you've taught it. Because when you have to you think you know something, but when you have to put it into words so that someone can understand it who is just starting out with it, then that shows that you really know it. And then also a teacher has to answer questions. I can say something, but now the student will ask me a question about it. I have to be ready to answer all those questions. So I think teaching changed the way I think because it taught me to be ready to answer questions about what I'm saying. There's probably more to it than that. of course, I have to learn how to say things that I hope they understand me right at the beginning. I can't assume that everyone is a philosopher. If I'm talking to another philosopher, I can say, take certain things for granted. But if I'm talking to someone who is not a philosopher, then I have to be like Bertrand Russell. I have to be able to express myself in a way that someone can understand me, even though they're not another philosopher. So I spend a certain amount of time thinking about, well, how can I express this in a way that's easier to understand? I might have to go on longer to explain it that way, but if I'm going to be a teacher, I have to be able to do that. That's my answer.
Wow. And that was also my brain was also telling me you are also make a in the future you are also make a teacher, good teacher.
What makes a good teacher? Is
Yes,
that what?
yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, first of all, to be a good teacher, you have to know your students and what they are ready to understand. You can't just say things that are true. You have to say things that your students are ready for, and so you have to ask questions of your students so that you can understand them. And of course, no two students are the same. Some students are ready for some things that other students are not ready for. So, and some students are interested in certain things. If you don't if you don't talk about things that interest them, then of course they will become bored and they will stop paying attention. And Also, I think the important thing to reach students with is help them to understand why what you're teaching about is important or interesting. See, if you if you can show them that it's interesting, that it's beautiful, then they will teach themselves. But if it is boring to them, then as soon as they're out of their classroom, they forget about it. Okay, so you have to show them why this is important, why this is beautiful. If you don't do that, you're probably not going to be very successful as a teacher. I would rather someone comes out of my class thinking philosophy is a wonderful thing, because then they will teach themselves philosophy for the rest of their lives. It's not so important to me whether they can take an exam that says, well, which philosopher said this, or what did this philosopher say? That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is for them to see why philosophy is important. So that's my answer to that.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving answer of my question. So next question, sir.
Okay. Why did you become a digital creator? Well, that's interesting. See, being on the internet is a wonderful thing. I'm 81 years old, so I can remember a time when there was no internet. In fact, people didn't have computers, except, there were a few computers in existence, and they were great big things that filled a whole building and were running on vacuum tubes. Okay. But now we have computers, and so we're having this conversation. We couldn't do that if it weren't for the internet. So you would never have learned of my existence, and I would never have learned of your existence if it hadn't been for the internet. And so when I retired from teaching, I decided I wanted to continue, and I wanted to use the internet to get my ideas across. So I made this Facebook, my Facebook timeline, and I put my ideas on that. And so my ideas reach people like you that I would never have met on the street. And to me, that's a great privilege. Is to me, the internet allows me to know people, at least to meet people who are in countries far, far away from where I am. And this is something that I could not have done before there was an internet. So essentially, I wanted to be a digital creator so that I could share my ideas with people and share their ideas. You know, I like it when other people, I say something on my Facebook timeline and then somebody says something back to me. Okay. And they can make a comment. If I make a post, they can make a comment, and I like it very much when people make comments on my timeline because I'm trying to communicate. I don't want to just talk to a wall, right? I want to talk to a person who will answer me, and that happens. That happens on my timeline. So, and you, for example, see, as I said before, I would never have met you. That idea makes me very sad. Um, but thanks to the internet and thanks to my timeline, um, I was able to meet you, to meet you. So that's my answer.
Next question, sir.
Okay. Next question is, what kind of content do you enjoy creating the most? Um, well,
Yes.
I just express ideas in words, and I don't make pictures. I don't make videos. Uh, I just write because I'm 81 years old. That's what I really learned to do.
Okay. How many you are ours?
Say that again, please.
How many you are ours?
I'm sorry, my hearing is not good.
How many you are ours? Ours. Air. Your age.
Could you type that question in, please?
Okay, so my sorry, please give me answer of my next 8th question.
Okay, that would be, how can young people use philosophy in daily life? Well, I think philosophy is largely a matter of thinking logically about things, thinking clearly about things. So in daily life, you should always take the time to think clearly about your life and what you might do with it. It's okay to be impulsive once in a while, but especially when the big decisions come up, you should think clearly, and that means you should be calm. If you're all riled up with emotion, then it's very hard to think clearly. So you should calm, maybe sit, take a deep breath, relax, and then start thinking about these very important things. And try to be logical. Try to use the information that you have in a logical way. Think ahead. Well, if I do this, what's going to happen? Not only what's going to happen right away, but what will happen tomorrow? What will happen next year? What will happen in 10 years from now? So if you get in the habit of thinking very logically and carefully, that's what philosophy can help you to do. So that's my answer.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So my next question is that you tell about you more. What advice would you give to your students?
Can I go on to
Yes. Go to 10 questions.
Okay, the question 10 is, what does a good life mean to you? Now, that's a very philosophical question. Yes. Well, I have this idea of flourishing. People should flourish. And what does it mean to flourish?
Uh,
Well, to me, what it means is that you have abilities. And if you use just those abilities successfully, then you are flourishing. Okay, so if you have a problem and solve it, then that's flourishing because you're using your abilities successfully. Okay, and this means, of course, you must be healthy. Uh, if you are sick, it's very hard to do things, right? So you should be healthy. You should also be mentally healthy. Your mind must not be tangled up uh, with emotions that are getting in your way, getting in. Okay, so and um, it helps to to flourish. There are various things that people can, many different abilities that people have. So there are many different ways for people to flourish, and not everybody will flourish in the same way because we have different personalities. But uh, I think a very important part of flourishing is to develop your moral sense, to to see the difference between right and wrong, and to act in accord with these differences. Animals, they just act; they don't understand, I think, what they are doing for the most part. It's like if you have a cat and you have a laser pointer and you run the laser pointer, the cat jumps on it, but it doesn't understand. But it doesn't understand. It doesn't understand what it's doing. But the next time you do it again, it will jump on it again. And of course, it never catches it, right? But human
because
being,
because the cat was animal.
the cat doesn't understand what's going on, and so so philosophy helps us to understand what's going on. Uh, Not only philosophy, science also, everything. But uh, so that's what a good life can mean. Means to me. You can use your abilities successfully, go out and do something in the world. I would say try to make the world a better place than it would ever have been if it weren't for you, or that it would have been if for you. And that's what I consider to be the good life. So that's my answer.
Okay, so next, thank you so much for giving answer of my question. So next question, sir, 11th.
Okay. What advice would you give to students who feel confused about their future? Well, life is often confusing, but what you should do if you are confused is you should try to find a quiet place and and take your time and think about what you want to do. Also, you should educate yourself. I mean, in order to know what to do, you have to know how the world works. What will happen if you do this? What will happen if you do that? So you should learn about how the world works, uh, and in other words, study, be a student. I think of myself, I am still a student. I mean, I'm a teacher, but I'm also always studying to try to deepen my understanding of the world. And this is something I think you never outgrow the need for this. So I would say the student should find a quiet place to think. You should find a friend who can understand you, and so you can talk about your life with this friend. But you should avoid friends who are bossy and who would say, "Oh, he doesn't know what to do with his life. I'm going to tell him because I know better than he does." So a good friend can listen to you, but they don't get bossy with you. They don't tell you what to do, but they help you to think about what you're thinking about. And they say, I know you're a good person. You know, You will
Okay,
want,
sir.
you will,
Yes.
so that's my answer.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, could you give me last advice to your viewers? Last advice.
Uh, how do you stay calm in difficult situations? Well, partly that's a habit. Oh,
Hello. 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 So viewers, the guest net issue has coming. So sorry for it. So we meet with the viewers. This is our interview. You like it or not? We meet with the next interview. So Allah Hafiz. Take care and